Hi everyone, welcome to the IoT Hero Show, my weekly showcase of thought leadership in the Internet of Things. My name is Tom Raftery, I'm the Global IoT Evangelist for SAP, and now, on with the show. Hi everyone, welcome to the IoT Hero Show. My name is Tom Raftery, I'm Global IoT Evangelist for SAP, and with me on the show today I have Rudi Held. Rudi, welcome to the show, and would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi Tom, great to be here. My name is Rudi Held. I'm heading the SAP CoInnovation Labs and I'm based out of Walldorf, the SAP headquarters in Germany.
Okay, and Rudi, what are the co-innovation labs that you talked about?
Well, the co-innovation labs are actually a network of labs, of teams, facilities and computing centers across the world where we collaborate with our ecosystem. We help SAP folks and our SAP ecosystem to build new innovative solutions faster and at a reduced risk. And to this end, we work on a proven, well-established methodology, and we provide a set of services to really accelerate innovation.
Okay. When you say the SAP ecosystem, are you talking about SAP customers?
No, it's actually everybody out there. It can be startups, it can be independent software vendors, it can be multinational system integrators, it can be customers, it can be research institutes and universities. Basically, everyone who's innovative, who's building up own intellectual property and is a legal entity, if you wish, is welcome.
Okay. And why would they come to an SAP Innovation Lab? What would be the thinking behind it? Why would they do this?
Yeah, well, I think there's various reasons. SAP is obviously the leader in business software, and whenever companies build solutions or research institutes build solutions for business, I think SAP is an obvious counterpart. They often have to integrate their solutions with SAP solutions, or they get asked by customers to build a solution on top of SAP, on top of SAP HANA, for example, or the SAP Cloud Platform. And at this point in time, companies that have never worked with SAP before suddenly realize that it makes sense to really team up with SAP and build a better solution for a new market.
Okay, and where are the labs located?
Yeah, so we are where the innovation happens, and we are where we see the markets, and that is across the world. Right now, we are in 12 locations, including the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And we are also present in all the mature markets in the leading industrial countries like US in the Silicon Valley, Germany, Japan, and so on.
Okay. This is the IoT Hero Show, Rudi. So there's obviously an IoT angle to this. Are there lots of IoT projects happening in the labs?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because the Co-Innovation Lab as such is a setup that fosters any kind of innovation across all industries, across all technologies. But what we had seen over the past years is that partners and the ecosystem, folks from the ecosystem came up with ideas that were clearly leveraging IoT concepts. So we started with IoT projects long time back, for example, in India with a startup called Arteria Technologies that built a solution for flood prevention and flood management, managing the impacts of floods based on sensors in rivers. They leveraged HANA. It's funded, or it's a collaboration actually with the state of Uttar Pradesh in northern India. And this whole project started, I think, back in 2014 even.
Wow. And how's it going?
That's a project that went very well. I mean, it's finished. We had the test runs and all this. You can't exactly call it a dry run because we are talking about floods and waters. But that went very well, and that was also something that really saw a lot of coverage in the news, especially in India itself, where in certain states flood is definitely an issue.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that there's a set methodology to the way you run with projects. I
Mhm.
assume that this one from India has gone through the whole process. What happens at the end with the project?
Yeah, so let me actually start with the beginning.
Okay. So go through the
And
process.
yes, yes, because in the end, the whole innovation process has to be embedded in an overall picture, in an overall frame that also helps the customers, that also helps everybody involved, like SAP and our partners and the startups, to really be successful with that. So the co-innovation projects usually start with an assessment of what is the market, what is the customer benefit, how do we as SAP benefit, and how can we contribute. Same for the startup. So there's a lot of validation with industry experts, with market experts about the impact of the use case. And once we have a clarity of how this solution can really help, can actually improve businesses, improve people's lives, then we really start with the actual innovation hands-on with, technical enablement. We set up the system landscapes. We design the architecture and go through the implementation phase of really a running prototype, a working prototype.
Okay. And at the end of the project, then what happens to the product of the co-innovation?
Yeah. The outcome of a co-innovation project is always something that should be repeatable. It should not be a one-off thing, not be a kind of proof of concept that you then throw away, but it is always something that is ready for customers to be used. It's our partners or SAP is able to offer this as a service or as a solution to the whole customer base.
Okay, excellent. Great, great. What would be, I mean, you mentioned different types of organizations that can be part of the co-innovation experience, but is there a typical user?
Um, no, not really. It's you have startups that basically tackle a specific problem, often even for a certain country, and it's something that fits perfectly to the SAP portfolio, that complements the SAP portfolio. And then we work with such startups that maybe were founded just 2 years ago or so. On the other hand, we also work with multinational system integrators, if they do a strategic investment into new SAP products, new SAP technologies to build solutions on top.
Okay, great.
So there's not a specific type of user or organization that we would work with.
And I mean, I can understand how the larger organizations may have come across you, but how would startups hear of the co-innovation labs?
Through various channels, actually. So since we are present across the globe and we also run startup programs, something that we called Co-Olympics, for example, we did in Brazil some time back on the SAP Cloud Platform and on HANA. Startups are aware of what we do, how we work. Interestingly, if a startup has really a unique offering, our own field colleagues, our colleagues in the market units, bring them to us and recommend to that startup to work with us as a means to really start working together. The startups usually don't have any connection with SAP originally. They have no contracts, they have no partnership status or anything,
Okay.
and they have no SAP background. So the co-innovation labs, also with our legal framework that protects the partners' intellectual property, is very attractive for startups really to start the interaction, start the SAP journey in COIL.
Nice, nice. Okay, you mentioned the project in India. Are there other interesting success stories that you can point to?
Yeah, there are actually quite some of them. One that I like very much because it's almost like a role model of how it should work is with a Russian company called ASU Project. They are one of the leaders for the Russian market and for the former CIS region in the oil and gas industry for oil field planning. And they have a solution that they originally built on another platform, not on SAP. But it was clear that the solution as such on the business level is something that is very attractive to our customers. And bringing this onto the SAP platform and integrating it with our oil and gas industry solution would be a perfect offering for many of the oil and gas customers. So we started working with them. They migrated their solution onto HANA first. That went very well. The simulation actually was considerably faster. They liked the platform, and then they migrated not only the database layer, but the whole application layer onto HANA. And now, like 1.5 to 2 years after the very first engagement, the very first contact we had with this partner, that solution is even on the SAP price list. So it's sold on SAP paper jointly with our own solutions. And that's the ideal case of really finding new partners, if you wish, and collaborating with them so closely that we really sell our solutions jointly.
Okay, wow. The labs are going to start to be transitioning to Leonardo labs?
It's not really that we would fully transition into Leonardo labs, but as I mentioned earlier, we've had quite a number of IoT projects already in the past, and we have a process that is well established, that is proven, that works also very well for IoT projects. We are present where the innovation happens, and with IoT, we really saw lots of innovative companies that are not based out of the Silicon Valley or of Germany or other of those countries, but you really have to be in the countries. Our network of co-innovation labs is a perfect fit in terms of presence. And so what we are going to do is we gradually add the IoT labs to the co-innovation labs network. So if you wish, the co-innovation labs will be the engine underneath, and the IoT labs will be the ones that we will see from outside, and that will host all these IoT projects with customers, with partners, and the whole ecosystem.
Okay, very good. And what's the future, do you think, of the innovation labs? Say 5 years, 10 years down the road, where do you see them going?
Yeah, that's a very good question. COIL is in its 10th year now. So we started with the first co-innovation lab in 2007 in Palo Alto. And I think we were probably the first team at SAP that used the term co-innovation for that kind of concept of collaboration with the ecosystem. And now 10 years later, everybody's using this term in SAP. Everybody's doing co-innovation. So I'm very glad to see that we were a front runner. And at the same time, we're still around. So we are still successful and helping drive innovation. I would be quite optimistic that we will see another 5 to 10 years doing this.
Great.
Will names change? We don't know. If everybody's using the term co-innovation, I think probably thought leaders will find new terms to use for similar concepts, and we will for sure adopt them. So the names may change, but I'm sure that the team will stay.
Fantastic. That's great. That's great. Is there anything that I haven't asked about the co-innovation labs that you think is important that people are aware of?
Well, I think it's all about open innovation. So the more the people know about COIL, and the more open they are approaching us, the better. So I think often SAP might be perceived by people as a company that is fully focused on enterprise resource planning and large enterprises, large partners, global partners, and I think this is actually not the case. The co-innovation labs and the IoT labs are an example of the openness of SAP, and also our eagerness actually to work with the ecosystem. So I think if there's one thing that the the audience should remember is, okay, if I have something that might be useful for the industry, for enterprises, anywhere in the world that might help run the world better, talk to SAP, come to us.
Okay. And on that point, if they do want to come to you, how is it best to get in touch?
There's various channels. So we do have a web presence, of course, and we have an email address, coil@sap.com. So COIL as an abbreviation for Co-Innovation Labs, COIL@sap.com. We monitor this inbox. I promise, I swear, and we will sure answer any inquiry. We also have a website where people can propose projects straight away. Okay. So I think there's various channels to contact us.
What's the address of that website?
It's also coil.sap.com, coil.sap.com.
Okay, super. Fantastic.
Yeah, and we are currently relaunching it just in case, so if colleagues are surprised that this webpage is changing frequently right now. We are updating it with a wealth of projects that we have done in the past so that everybody can see, okay, what's the kind of activity, what's the kind of projects that we have run, what's the process, and so on. So that's something that we're currently bringing up to date.
So you've got case studies and everything there that people can see.
Yeah, all that is
fantastic. That's very useful. Great. Super, Rudi, that's been fantastic. Thanks a million for coming on the show today and telling us all about the Co-Innovation Labs.
Yeah, thanks, Tom, very much for having me here.